tried to say I'm sorry. I really miss the glory. Your wicked ways got me lying on the wicked road.
Hey everybody, I am just checking in for my Sunday weekly vlog. So today was spent just doing homework and also doing some landscaping that needed to be done at my grandparents. They can't do it themselves anymore, so I really like to be able to help when I can. I love them a lot, so it's hard to say no to them, and I like helping them. So it was a full long day, and I'm very excited to go to bed. Quickly, though, before we wrap things up, I just wanted to quickly touch on some things that I wanted to talk about with empathy that I had neglected to mention in my previous blog for Friday. So, for me, empathy also is the human thing to do, but it also comes from a place of not receiving empathy in times where I really did need it or would have benefited from it. I remembered how it actually had made me feel, and to not have that platform of voice and to feel like you were not being understood is not a great feeling. And that's what I try to keep in mind, that these students that we're working with oftentimes are going through a lot. We've covered it all before. We all know what happens to teenagers when they are in high school. It's a very emotionally turbulent time, and it can also just present its own unique facets of challenges, given the fact that we don't know the context of everything that is happening in our students' lives. So I really just try to go forward with that empathy and make sure that I'm incorporating that every way I can. And I already know from my experience that I've had teaching in my practicum and in my LTO that it was appreciated. I had students that reached out to me and told me that they thanked me for my understanding and my patience, and I always will have that for my students. I in general really enjoy helping people. I like being able to do what I can so people feel heard. And with that comes with my own sense of making sure that I'm being heard and understanding my respect and value where I need to leave a situation if I don't feel that there is no common ground, for a lack of better words at the moment, because it is emotionally draining to put yourself in a position of empathy and do something where you require help and not receive that same empathy back. So just trying to keep that in mind and respect my own peace, because I need to have empathy for myself as well. And that also includes on being forgiving to myself. I'm not a perfect human being. I grow and learn every single day. Keep that in mind. Sometimes I look back and when I'm reflecting and I can't help but think, oh my gosh, that was terrible. That was so cringy. Everybody hates you, blah, blah, blah. And then I also have to just tell myself, hey, stop. Don't need to be mean to yourself. That's not helping anybody. You can reflect. It's like a rear view mirror. You can look back occasionally to understand what happened in behind you and in the past, but you can't focus on it and stare at it, because otherwise you are not going to be able to see the path and the road ahead of you, and that can lead to a car crash. So don't do that. And trying to take that analogy and really understand that not everybody has empathy is something else that is worth mentioning. For me, a lack of empathy can come from a myriad of reasons. It can be as simple as a lack of understanding, a lack of emotional intelligence, or selfishness. It is dependent on each person, and it's really for them. It's their choice to be empathetic or not empathetic. And I have to respect if they choose to not be empathetic, but I also have the right to not associate my people with who make those kind of decisions, because it is very draining and taxing to constantly try and upkeep that level of give and no take, for a lack of better words, when it comes to dealing with adults, at least in my opinion. Teenagers and my students get a little bit of a pass because they're supposed to be learning. They're going to make mistakes, and that's the whole point. They're supposed to learn from them. Whereas if an adult does that, I do have empathy, but there's a barrier, or a threshold, I should say. And once the threshold starts getting put out of context and bigger and bigger until it's a constant, then you need to respect your own peace and have empathy for yourself in that situation and realize, you know what, it's okay to not associate yourself with somebody anymore if it's not um, filling your cup as well, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Other than that, I'm going to go to bed. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.